Hello guys, this is Negacious. Just a quick reminder, or like a note, I suppose, before we jump into the episode. Today's episode is also quite long, nearly 1 hour 40 minutes. But I swear the next episode will be around half an hour again, and so forth. But the reason for the exceptionally long episode today is because I didn't I didn't check the upcoming route beforehand, just how much content there will be before it would be a good time to cut off. So I just stumped in it all into a single episode. This episode is just me getting on the route that I wanted to get, and next episode we will begin the route in a proper manner. Thank you for your patience, and I'm sorry for this extremely inconsistent video length, but I hope that you'll manage with it. I hope you'll still enjoy the videos, and I hope we can enjoy this Let's Play together. My name is Negacious, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. Hello guys, this is Negacious, and Happy Christmas! Or December 24th, as due. I'm recording the video. 2016 is almost coming to an end, but our Katawa Shoujo Let's Play is only at the beginning, since we only finished, I guess, 2 routes, if we count yesterday's route, in quotes. So, right now you're seeing the main screen, because, I was lost. Last episode was just, I was clicking randomly, seeing which choices could I take, where could I go, and apparently the route was considered a route, but, it was a bad end if you rejected all the girls, I think, was from what I read. So, this time we're not gonna do that. Our goal is to get on Hanako's route, or Lily's. I was thinking, and I like Lily, after all. But our main goal is to get Hanako's route started in this video. And, I'm going to explain how I'll do it. In the last video, Scar, a user named Scar, actually linked me a flowchart to the game with all spoilery parts taken out. So thank you, 1,000 thank yous for that. It's gonna help me a lot with with my going, or with selecting routes and that sort of stuff. So let's get going. If I can find a proper load space here. I think it's the soap is the chapter name where we are supposed to start. So basically in the flowchart it says that you just go through all the chapters. Yes. I mean, you can take it earlier, I think. But I can take it from I'm gonna take it from the soap part, because this chart is it's complicated. But if I go to soap right now, and I'll just I don't want to save. I tested this already once, so that I might have to backtrack. But if I go skip mode, it skips through here, and then there is the argument in between with Shizune and Lily. So that was the argument between Shizune and Lily about the school budgets, and I thought that this brings a difference, and we clicked last time that hey, come on, cut me and Lily some slack. So apparently this is a necessary step into getting on one of the 2 routes of Hanako or Lily. If you pick the other choice, don't drag me into this, I've done my part, in that case you will end up most likely on Shizune's route, or Rin's, I think, but Shizune's mainly. So let's choose, hey, come on, cut me and Lily some slack. And we've already established what that choice says in the last chapter. So basically Lily thanks us, and it's the same as before. Afternoon classes are boring. but now this is a different choice, I think. So we stay in class. Shizune and Misha are talking with the other class representative again. And Misha's like, "Oh, I'm so tired." And we talk with Shizune and Misha for a bit. This is all like I mean, I'm just looking up a guide right now, so this is kind of boring, but I still want to leave this in so I can explain how I got on the route. So Shizune and Misha, this is all the same dialogue, and Hanako walks in, asking for where Lily is. Wait. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is new. This is new because I think I screwed up an earlier choice with either Lily or Hanako. But now that we started from this chapter, this soap chapter, so now after Shizune and Misha leave the classroom, the conversation was that was Lily in our classroom. And Shizune and Misha responded that no, she should be doing the paperwork in her own class. But now the dialogue is different, so I'm going to read it. She has this really troubled expression she seems to wear almost constantly. One that makes me constantly be on guard myself. I wonder why. I kind of understand why she always seems to be so wary, or maybe more like why there could be a person like her. But I still have no idea how I should act around such a person. It's dinner time soon. Were you planning to eat with Lily? She nods slightly. So she must have been trying to get in the cafeteria. Well, there's something of a dinner crowd, just like the cafeteria is crowded during lunch. It's not as bad as because dinner time is longer than lunch hour, but I can understand why Hanako would be discouraged from going in. I pick up my bat and we take our leave. Hanako skips a little to meet my initial pace, so I slow down to match her speed. It doesn't take long for us to be walking at a comfortable pace down the hallway. It almost feels like we're going for a stroll together, something that I can't say I've really done before with a girl. Hanako doesn't seem to be thinking the same thing though. Even though we are walking at the same pace, she never comes within an arm's reach of me. I guess she's still a little uncomfortable around me. Given how shy she is, there doesn't seem to be much helping it, at least for now. By the time we arrive at the cafeteria, there is not much of a crowd here, but Lily is nowhere to be seen. Hanako's head sinks even lower than usual. So this is all new for me. Like, I don't know how it goes from here. Current scene paint by numbers, so this is just all new. Okay. Just at the library, I was reading. So she does spend the classes she skips at the library. Ah, so not exactly a thorough search then. Well, if I had to guess, she'd be in her own class like Shizune said, right? Right. With the slightest of nods, Hanako agrees with my reasoning. God, she's being so awkward. It's like I need double-layered silk gloves with padding to even begin interacting with her. Some small talk might help her become a bit more used to me. It isn't hard to tell that the silence between us is hovering on the edge of both our minds. So, you and Lily usually hang out together after class, right? Yes. I'm not quite sure what I expected from her answer, nor why I even asked the question. That much was rather obvious, after all. She doesn't seem like the type to cultivate a social circle either, so I suspect that Lily may well be her only friend. Must be a pain being in different classes, I'm guessing. She gives a sharp, almost reflexive nod. Compared to Lily's careful thought about her actions and speech, Hanako hastens to make her attempts as prompt and short as possible. Lily comes by the classroom though, even when she's busy. She gives a small smile as she says it, evidently appreciating the fact that Lily goes out of her way to help her. It's pretty cute, really. There isn't a need to say more, both of us content that the discussions reached an end. As we ascend the stairs back to the lobby, we are met by a group of students heading downstairs like a school of fish, moving from one feeding area to another. They seem to be keeping mostly to themselves, but before I can notice her doing so, Hanako has moved around behind me. Hey, are you alright? I'm just checking the scene constantly to make sure that I don't skip anything. Just keep going. The students pass us, and without as much of a second glance, Hanako takes up position to my side again as we enter the building. Her momentary reprieve from her anxiety all but snatched away. As we climb towards the third floor, she doesn't seem to relax. It isn't as if I've never known a shy person before, or even shy girls, but Hanako seems to be pretty far beyond what I'd call normal in her fear of other people. If it weren't for Lily acting as a mediator, I doubt Hanako would have even been able to walk beside me like this. She seems to be completely shut down in the presence of others. The rest of the walk up to Lily's classroom continues in strange silence, while I rue her inability to socialize at all. After we make our way up the stairs, the noise coming from Lily's classroom is audible from halfway down the hallway. I wasn't expecting such a din at all. Well, I guess we found her. This wasn't hard. Did Hanako come here first, then come to me for backup, I wonder? Well, if that's true, then at least she's starting to trust me a little. That can only be a good thing. Eventually, the two of us reached the door of class 3-2. With Hanako less than subtly positioning herself behind me, I opened the door. Inside is a hive of activity, seemingly every student in the class talking at once as they work hurriedly on their separate tasks. This is actually a new shot of like a new screen. Makes sense since we are in a new classroom. Going by the paint cans, decorations and banners being made, it must be for the upcoming school festival. I guess my first priority should be finding Lily. There. Finding her amongst the din is surprisingly easy, not the least because of her looks. With a couple of students gathered around her as she stands in front of the class, she seems to be in charge of the preparations, or at least busy organizing them. Carefully negotiating a path through the various students hunched over the floor for lack of desk space, I raise a hand entirely out of habit as we finally reach Lily. Hi, Lily. She perks her head up as she breaks off talking to a noticeably smaller girl who must be her classmate, trying to listen as best as she can. Wait, which C is this? Again, still paid by numbers, okay? Sorry, who? Sorry, Hisao. I have Hanako too. Hi. She's pretty skittish. Considering the number of people around, it isn't too hard to work out why. Lily takes a moment's pause to assess the situation before turning to the other student once again. For the moment, just ask Moria for his advice. Kenji's busy with painting one of the banners already. A quick nod and she bounces off, fingers carefully sliding along the wall's face for orientation. Wait, Kenji? That Kenji? I quickly turn about, leaning to the side to see past Hanako. Sure enough, in the corner of the room, Kenji's hunched over a sheet of cloth as he paints it. His eyes remain only inches from the brush, reminding me of how close he had to be to make out my face when I met him. Sorry about that. Our class does not have many students with even partial eyesight, so they're in high demand. That's right. Class 3 through 3-2 was specially for students with poor vision. Preparing for the festival must be pretty arduous for them. Need a hand? I could give you help if you need some. Maybe Hanako could too. Sorry about that, I had forgotten my Facebook open. A chance to set her mind on something would do her good, but I doubt she has the courage to ask outright. She quickly nods in affirmation afterwards, so I'm confident I made the right move. Lily gives a noticeable sigh of relief. Ah, that's good. This might actually get finished before everyone goes off to dinner now. Would you be able to help the person painting the main banner? It is a big task for him to do, but nobody else can help. Kenji? Sure. She seems surprised that I know him. I can't really blame her. I take it that you have met. Our rooms in the dorm are right next to each other. Hard to miss each other, really. Well, it's good to see you are getting friends so fast. Friend. I wonder if that's the right word to use for him. Hanako's silence during the proceedings reminds me of the reason I put her up to helping in the first place. We'll go help him then. He knows what needs doing, right? That is right. Just ask if you have any problems. Chorusing in assent, Hanako and I begin another trek across the classroom. Kenji sits crouched on the floor, his gaze fixed on the white calico in front of him. Hey, Kenji. No answer. He continues dragging his paint-soaked brush along the large, half-painted kanji that's sketched on the sheet of pencil. In pencil. Kenji? What? Who is it? If this is the way he treats class members, it's no small wonder he's working on this alone. It's me, Hisao from... Right, I know, man. What are you doing here, though? His dismissive attitude annoys me. He must be the type to really get focused on his work, hating to be disturbed by anyone until he's done, I suppose. While we talk, the sound of Hanako's footsteps as she walks out from behind me reminds me that she's there. I was just going to help with the banner, Hanako and I, that is. Hello. Oh, hey, I guess that's okay. As soon as Hanako enters the equation, his demeanor takes a complete about-face. His sudden full hospitality is slightly unsettling. Oh, right. Women. On second thoughts, this may not have been a great idea after all. Hanako and I grudgingly set ourselves down on the opposite side of the cloth banner to Kenji, the several small paint tins on the ground around it. Class 3-2 noodle stall? You guys selling noodles at the festival on Sunday? Yeah, some stalls outside, or something. Or something? His non-committal nature speaks a fair amount of suspicion on my behalf. The task at hand comes first, though. So, how do you want to split this? We do borders while you do the text, or do you want to switch and do the borders? Text is mine, you do borders. He has surprisingly strong feelings on the topic. As I reach over to grab a brush, I notice Hanako's already debating between colors to use. By the time I've put brush to cloth, she's already started on a delicate pattern. Looks like my idea of taking her mind off everyone around her worked. With a dark blue stroke, the three of us silently get to work. Not before Kenji takes advantage of Hanako's working to lean towards me and whisper conspiratorially. Conspiratorially, though. Okay, man, why are you here? Hanako just wanted some help to find Lily, that's all. He apparently disapproves of my motivations. I get it. It looks like I misjudged you. You're infiltrating them, aren't you? Going deep undercover? Jesus Christ. I should have guessed. Letting the truth slip by him would probably be better than outright lying or annoying him in any case. Is that why you're here? Obviously. It sucks, but there's no better way to get intel than going in yourself. We gotta stick together, man. This is a harsh school, a harsh world. Yes, very harsh. He misses my true meaning as he leans back, satisfied that I'm sympathetic to his cause. I'd better get down to work. Finished? Looks like I'm too. Good job. The two of us connect up the lines of our patterns, mine being as close a copy as I could manage of hers. With a grunt, I lever myself up from the floor and look around. Aside from Hanako and myself, there's only Kenji left finishing off as a sign, as well as Lily and a couple of students talking among themselves in the classroom. Looking at my watch, it's no surprise. It's getting pretty late. Need a hand? I offer a hand to Hanako, which she uses to get herself up. I really like the usage of the sprites in this game. In Emmy's route, there were several times when the usage of the sprites and the motion really brought the moment to life, even if it wasn't anything special. And even now with that little jerk upwards, it was really cool. My room is hot right now, Jesus. As she does, I can't help but hang on, I need to lower the friggin' battery. Okay, we're back. As she does, I can't help but glance at her wrist. If her scars extend to even there, just how much of her body was burned? I feel a pang of guilt about it, however, as she quickly covers her wrist with her other hand. Looks good, doesn't it? She looks surprised for a moment before noticing I'm in the banner. It does, I guess. Her smile shows that she feels a slight sense of pride in the result, just as I do. With the floor significantly neater for the decorations being placed on desks and shelves, it's much easier to get to Lily as we cross the room. We've finished the banner. I guess that's all that needs to be done. Lily gives an appreciative nod. Thank you, Hisao. Hanako, if there is any way I can thank you. It's fine. Beats sitting in my room studying at any rate. I don't mind either. She nods before suddenly remembering one last person. Oh, is Kenji still here? Just as I open my mouth, Kenji gives the answer from the other side of the room. Yeah, just finished. He carefully slides his sign onto an empty section of the shelf to dry before quickly walking past us and out the door. See ya, man. Bye. The remaining two students say their goodbyes to Lily before taking their cue to leave as well, leaving only the three of us. Well, I guess that's everyone. I hope we don't have to do anything like that again. Working past school time? Indeed, the class's plans for this year were ambitious. Maybe too ambitious. The stars look nice though. Aww, she's so cute. She's right. It shows that a lot of work's gone into them. My, I'm sure a lot of us would be glad to hear that. At least now there is not much work to do until the festival itself. It's getting pretty late. Should we go? That is probably a good idea. Are you going to go back to the dorms as well, Hisao? Yeah, I guess I'll tag along. Whoa, what is this? A new shot again. The nighttime lighting really makes the gardens look quite different. Compared to the usual look of lush greenery, things are much more calm. Being that it's so late, the lack of students around probably helps. The odd one or two can be seen scurrying to and from the dorms, trying to eke the most out of their approaching curfews, but no more. All that can be heard is our footsteps, in addition to Lily's cane regularly gently tapping the ground in front of her. It's nice to finally be able to relax a bit after the mad rush during school. Without even noticing it, I let out a small yawn. Tired? Yeah, still getting used to the flow of things, I guess. The thing with Shizune kinda took me off guard, though. I grit my teeth a little as the candid mention of their rather public spat. That said, I do want to sort out what in the world was behind it. About that. I am sorry about it being so public. Shizune and I go back some ways. Her voice seems slightly irritated as she remembers Shizune, obviously unwilling to discuss it any further. I glance at Hanako for her views of this, but her expression is unsurprisingly evasive and difficult to read. Either way, I guess her apologizing for it is something, even if my curiosity goes unanswered. I'll be glad once the festival is over in any case. The change of topics welcome, clearing the thickening air quickly. I can imagine, my old school's festivals were a lot more low-key than this. Yamaku stresses the idea of a school community, so the staff likes to make our festivals and such special occasions. And yet the students are the ones who do the work. What an unfair world. Hanako and Lily both chuckle in agreement, savoring the fact that none of the staff are around to hear our grumbling. I suppose coming from a strict all-girls school helped me a bit with Yamaku. Compared to there, Yamaku is much more relaxed. That'd go a way towards explaining her well-bred speech and behavior in any case. Okay, so Lily is from an all-girls school. I don't think we've actually heard that before. As we come up to the dormitories, it eventually comes time to leave for our respective rooms. See you, Lily, Hanako. The two both give polite nods before setting off to the women's dorms, just next to the guys. As is to be expected of such an arrangement, there's a staff member casually patrolling around outside to prevent any nighttime shenanigans. Walking past him, I quickly stretch my arms and rub my neck, both quite sore after having worked on the floor for so long, before walking to my room. It feels good to actually have direction, though. After so long in the hospital, the everyday facts of studying, homework, and teachers seem almost like a blessing. I guess if things continue like this, my time at Yamaku might turn out okay. Adhering to the nurse's nagging voice in the back of my... Wait. Did we see this last time? Let me drop a save here, just to be sure. Okay. I think we might have actually... Okay, so that was the Emmy's like morning run, and this is where we sometimes took the... This is where we took the option where we push ourselves, and that locked us on Emmy's route. Because in the chart it says that if we take it from here, we actually ended up on... We actually ended up on Emmy's route, which kind of locks us on that route. So this time we're going to take it easy, and we will not push ourselves on the morning run. I let Emmy go with her own pace, and she doesn't show mercy, pulling half a lap ahead of me in an instant. I don't blame her. I mean, it's not as if I'm really putting up any sort of real fight out here, is it? Instead, I'm just running at a steady pace, which is what I should be doing, right? There's no need to go pushing my limits at this stage of the game. God, is this even worth it? As we finish the second lap, I break off again. Emi keeps going, and it almost seems to me that she's disappointed. Well, that's stupid. I don't have anything to prove to her. Come to think of it, I've got nothing to prove to myself either. I'm just fine the way I am. And what I'm not is a runner. This was probably a bad idea. Maybe there's something else I can do instead of this. Getting up this early sucks anyway. There's got to be some other way to keep healthy. Walking maybe. Nice afternoon walks. Yeah, that sounds good. Running isn't for me. I wave to Emi and head back to my room. I'll think of something else later. Okay, let's see. Current scene, invisible hat. Okay, let's see. If I were to skip mode here. Okay, so we go to a talk with Kenji. This is Emi. We go talk with Emi and Rin. Okay, I'll be back soon, guys. Okay, so after a bit of scrolling, we the game took us on the route where we were last time, where we went to buy supplies from the city, or like the town, and it was the exact same scenario with Lily and Rin. So now it's nighttime as we are climbing back to the school with our supplies. I'm sorry. And here's the choice where Lily noticed that we are out of breath, and it's the choice of telling her that we are not in a very good condition and that we have arrhythmia, or that I really don't want to talk about it. And last time we picked that sorry, I'm not in a very good condition, which apparently leads us to like the correct route, and we were like one choice off, and that was earlier in the game, which means last time we were pretty much screwed and stuck with the dead end route. So we're gonna pick, I don't really want to talk, we are going to pick the same as last time, sorry, I'm not in a very good condition, which leads us forward. And this is new dialogue because I can't remember which choice did we take. Earlier we made the correct choice of siding with Lily in the argument, and because we haven't done any earlier choices since we started there, we are now on the correct path. This is complicated, Jesus Christ. To my surprise, in a moment's time, her face shows that she comes to some sort of realization. So we just told Lily that we have arrhythmia, basically. Wait, so the time when Emi and you collided in the hallway... I grimace slightly. Her ability to connect the dots quite so fast is unexpected. Yeah, I guess I'm a textbook example of why those rules about running in the corridors exist. That was a lot more dry than I'd intended. Lily visibly shies away from continuing the topic. Oh yeah, and also this is the timeline where we were with Lily and Hanako in the hallway. While I do want to assuage her concern, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it, and this is old dialogue, I think. Yeah? Okay, so this is just all old dialogue. Let's see. Now this is from our first Let's Play, or like the first time we played through Chapter 1, when Lily actually comes to the classroom with Hanako. In the last episode we actually skipped over this because we had made wrong choices, but this is a different story now. So Lily basically comes to fetch Hanako from our classroom, but we have new dialogue here. The boredom evidently comes too much for her. Yeah, and like Lily came to the classroom, but Lily left right after. So for a couple of minutes she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, Hanako, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her though, her slender frame... God dang it. Her slender frame reacting into her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, that isn't the one I saw her reading at the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through of them at this rate. And this is new dialogue now because of the choices we made. But why would Lily leave her to her own devices? It seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. ... Ah, that's right. I think Lily mentioned something about going into town today before Rinpam bumped into us. The thought of that walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and the occasional people wandering around and enjoying the afternoon make me yearn to get out of school, or at least do something other than sit here. Giving into one of my worst vices, procrastination, I decide that history is a subject best studied on a Sunday, or a Monday, or on any day other than this one. I give a grunt as I level myself out of my seat, briefly debating with myself whether or not to hang out with Genji. He doesn't strike me as the enjoying the nice weather outside with others kind of person, really. I guess I'll catch up with him later. Changing tacks, I briefly entertained the idea of talking with Hanako, but by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left for the library. There's got to be something to do that can kill the time. Okay, here we go. So, current scene SIP part 2. So, now we are in the correct scene, and this choice right here, I'm gonna save this. This choice is which resolves whether we end up on Hanako's path or Lily's path. And because Lily went into town today again, after the shenanigans last night with Rin and Lily, Lily went to the town again, so she's there. If we pick that we go for a walk into town, we end up on Lily's route. And if we choose to go to the library, if we go into town, we end up on Lily's route. But if we go to the library right now, we end up on Hanako's route. So, my goal is to go to Hanako's route. So we are going to go to the library right now. So, let's go. Go to the library. The library seems as good a place as any to go. Hanako looked as if she was taken pretty off guard by Lily leaving, so she might want someone to talk to. Slinging my bag over my shoulder, I make my way out of the classroom. I walk down the hallway to the library, past a multitude of closed doors. Through each one the sound of furious rehearsal can be heard. Rock music blares out of one door, almost as loud as a concert. I guess that's one of the advantages of a private school. There are actually enough rooms to go around at a time like this. And, when I think about it, the grounds and buildings of the school are kept in pretty good condition. That can't be too cheap. I've heard that this place has some pretty serious benefactors. The walls of the library only partially insulate the noise of the festival preparations, but they are the only sounds to be heard. Not a soul stirs here, with everyone apparently enjoying the weather outside or working on festival events. Yuko isn't here either. Maybe she doesn't work on Saturdays. I quietly walk through the library, now fairly familiar with its layout. I head to the back, where Hanako's private little corner is. I run my hand along the spines of the books on my way through, feeling the individual texture of each as I glance across the titles. I used to do this all the time at the library at the hospital. Something has never changed, I guess. Like the smell of a library. No matter how much care you take, the paper in books is always going to degrade with time. Probably, no matter which library you go into, in the world, it must have that same musty smell. I find something that looks light enough to read without any major thought involved, then look for Hanako in the reading area. Once again, she's sitting on a beanbag with her back to a bookshelf. Her reading the same book she'd had in the classroom, she's slowly making her way through the pages. Unlike last time I saw her here, I quietly take a seat in the beanbag. In a beanbag, not inside the beanbag. The noise is enough to catch her attention, but not startle her. The delicate routine that must be followed each and every time I try to talk to her almost feels like a hunting game. Is that the same book as before? Yes, I'm almost finished. Cool. I wonder if I should. Do you mind if I borrow it when you're finished? My mouth is faster than my mind, it seems. Sure. You may not like it, but I'm sure it can't be that bad. After all, you've stuck with it, haven't you? I guess. I settle into my beanbag and set about reading my own book that had been buried in my bag. It's a light novel about pirates. To be honest, I'm barely skimming over the words, having chosen the book merely because it belongs to a different genre than I usually read. Finding it hard to muster enough enthusiasm to finish the book, and noticing that I've inadvertently distracted Hanako quite a bit, I decide to try and make conversation. So, I see Lily left without you? She nods before taking her eyes off the book. She must have been really into it after all. Lily said that she had to go and meet someone. Oh? Akira. Her sister. Sister? Lily has a sister called Akira. Cool. Sister? I haven't heard her talk about her family. She and Akira used to live together. I thought all the students lived in the dorms. We don't have to. But it's easier, right? I mean, there's food here and you're close to school. I don't think I've ever been to class on time so often in my life. Her badly hidden smile proves quite rewarding. In the back of my mind, I know I have a bit of homework to catch up on, but it's quite comfortable in here. No one can find me and force me into working for their pet project either. Though now that I'm thinking about the festival, another question comes up. Hey, Hanako, what are you doing for the festival? Wow. For a split second, I think that Hanako is about to throw her book in the air from shock. Sorry? I was just asking what you're doing for the festival tomorrow. Anything planned? I don't know. Hanako answers in the way that people do when they don't want you to ask any more questions. I take it large crowds and loud music aren't really her thing. Oh, okay. Change the subject. So, what's Lily's sister like? She's nice. She's pretty like Lily, but she dresses business-like. Business-like? She's always wearing a suit. Ah, I see. And that makes her less pretty somehow? Hanako gives an embarrassed shake of the head. No, just different. I'll admit it, this has got me intrigued. To hear Hanako talk about someone other than Lily is a first, and to be complimentary about it too. But as I try to picture this mystery sister, all I can think of is Lily in a suit, and I can't imagine that not being attractive. Not at all. Well, one day you'll have to introduce me to her. Oh, okay. Our brief conversation ends as abruptly as it started, and we both return to our novels. The passage of time is marked only by the gradual movement of the patch of light cast through the window. Slowly, the noises from the various rehearsals in the building fade out and die as students start to get hungry and tired. Just thinking about that makes my stomach start to turn knots around itself. I think it's time to head back. Do you think Lily would be back by now? I think I might head back to my dorm. I'm pretty tired from this week. And not a word of that is a lie. Moving to a new school as it ramps up for a major event has been taxing, to say the least. I can feel myself nodding off as I read my book. Oh, okay. I might stay here a little longer. Looking at Hanako's book, I can see that she's only a few pages away from completing it. For a moment, I consider hanging around until she finishes, but once again, my stomach turns, emitting a gurgling sound. Sure thing. Well, I'm going to head off before it gets dark. I'll see you around, okay? Okay. See you, Hisao. Later. Hisao? Thank you for hanging out with me. I can see how hard it was for her to get that simple sentence out of her mouth. It leaves me hanging for a moment. So, there is someone in this school who is even lonelier than me. Maybe lonely is a wrong word. I haven't been lacking company for this first week, but I've still managed to feel somewhat alone and detached. Maybe lonely is a wrong word for Hanako too. She has Lily after all, doesn't she? I realize I've been standing there for far too long without answering and pull off a flawless, not too exaggerated smile. You're welcome. Good night, Hanako. Night. I leave her to finish her book and head back to the dorms and the promise of food. Katawa Shoujo. The next day, I wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping late is fine, since it's a Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday though, but the festival as well. From my window, I can already see that some people at the soba booth slinging noodles onto plates for people with a craving for low-quality food. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the day. There will be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others, so I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. With no urgent obligations regarding education, I should be free to spend the day at the festival as I like. Finishing my morning routine, I exit into the hallway, intending to go out and finding something to eat. Passing by his door, I decide to see what Kenji is up to today out of impulse. I'm curious to see if he has any plans, since everyone is doing something. Then again, I can picture him having built a soundproof shelter in his room. Or possibly something like a fort, complete with no girls allowed sign. And with the girls crossed out and the body crudely scrawled underneath it. Knocking on his door, which is luckily devoid of any kind of sign, I hear again the unsettling clicking of at least 10 locks being pulled back. The door opens up a crack. This is really long. I'm gonna just skip mode here. I think this is all dialogue, yeah. We're just talking with Kenji about what is he doing. So, yeah, we just talked about what is he gonna do for the festival, so right now we are gonna go for the festival. And I think that's where we are going to leave off this episode of Katawa Shoujo, guys. I'm sorry we didn't get, because I'm guessing there's a cutscene for, every girl, like we had with Emi, after we end up on their route. So, we are going to continue next time, hopefully end up on Hanako's route this time. If you liked the video, please make sure to click that like button and subscribe. And also click the bell button next to the subscribe button to get my videos to your sub box. You can leave comments, but I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can make yourself known or not. But anyways, my name is Negacious. Thank you for watching. Bye. Yeah, so this is just new dialogue right now. I don't know why though. Is it because we're on a new route? I don't know. I'm pretty hungry, so I thought I'd get some food first and then check out the attractions. Your class project seemed pretty cool, and I have a hand with it, so I want to see it at least the one and chat with Lily, I guess. Speaking of that, do you have any obligation for the project? Are you out of your mind? That blind broad is up to no good. I can feel it in my spleen, man. Her presence is like a dark shadow that's in the way of my great vision. As expected of blind people. What? Besides, I thought that you were also... He holds up his hand to interrupt me. Only legally. Metaphorically, I can see farther than any man before me has seen. Kenji looks stoically into the metaphorical distance to emphasize his statement, thrusting his chin forward to look manlier. Actually, it's just a corridor wall 2 meters away, but it's all the same. I can see the future of mankind, and it's a dark one unless the threat of women is stifled. They're everywhere. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster, like he's trying to start a fire. I think this is old, yeah. Oh yeah, okay, so now we're at the festival. Alone right now, because last time we were talking to Emmy, right? But right now, and she prevented us from eating anything good. But right now, it's different, because we're on a different route again. After buying a plastic plate of takoyaki from a stall belonging to the class next to ours, I take a seat in the school gardens to watch people pass as I tentatively nibble away at the rather blunt-tasting item. Guess I shouldn't complain, it's better than nothing and didn't cost much. As I look out towards the school, watching the people coming and going proves a surprisingly entertaining way of passing the time as I eat. Little children accompanied by parents or grandparents scamper about in the din from event to event, one hand dragging their company and the other bearing an oversized, colorful snack. I can't help but notice the age range among the people here is skewed towards the elderly, something that I'd also noticed when I was walking around town. This must be one of those towns where the only people left are those who have lived here their whole lives and ardently refuse to leave, and those wanting to live out of the rest of their days in one of the increasingly few tranquil places. Tranquil, I should say. I guess that also goes a way to explaining how conservative Yamaku school culture seems to be. Not that I mind one bit. I kind of like how calm Yamaku and its surroundings are. The heat, though, is another matter entirely. Sitting in one place for so long has focused my mind on how annoyingly humid it's getting, now that the hottest part of the day is here. I'd better get moving if I... Gah! The sound of the carillon bells takes me completely by surprise as I stand up, a reaction shared by a few of the people strolling around as well. The PA system crackles to life after the tolling bells end. Its age shows the principal makes a barely intelligible announcement over it, officially opening the festival that's very much in full swing. It's quite amusing to contrast the pleasant smiles of the older folk against the alternatively pained and bored grimaces of their younger charges. The students, on the other hand, seem to pay it a little heed. Nevertheless, as the address finally ends, all are united in polite, if not overly enthusiastic, applause, and then get back to business. Slipping a hand in my pocket to look as relaxed as I possibly can, I casually glance around for something to do. It's somewhat difficult to see very far with all the people around. I decide to fall back and, on a tried and trusted rule, go where everyone else seems to be gathering. Right now, that's the school courtyard and surroundings. Throwing the used plate into a trash can, I make my way towards the school building. Seeing the number of stalls around the perimeter of the school building surprises me. Quite a few of the classes must have opted to have multiple stalls. In deciding which to visit first, I catch sight of a familiar banner with a blue patterned border and red text. Lily's stall is as good a place to start as any. I'm curious as to how it's going, after all of the work she and her class have been doing for it. Stepping up to it, I begin to see why the class took so long to organize everything. Whoa, that looks cool actually. Easily twice as wide as many of the other stalls and with equipment for cooking strewn everywhere, it's closer to an outdoor restaurant than a festival event. As a student in front of me takes a bowl of noodles and leaves, I walk up to the counter. The girl behind it seems quite exasperated and asks me to wait a moment before she disappears underneath the counter. Seizing the moment, I take a quick glance around. Steam seems to be rising from everywhere as the pots and pans simmer away. The most blind of the students are unpacking ingredients while being helped by someone who is probably the teacher of 3-2. It doesn't take long to notice Lily among them, talking with the teacher as she quickly counts out the boxes and packets with her fingers. From her expression and the fact that both she and the teacher seem to be in a state of mild confusion, it appears that there has been some problem in coordination. Before I can stare any longer, the girl behind the counter pops up again, only to look back and ask where the spare change box is. Lily pauses for a moment before she and the girl switch places at the counter and the teacher quickly walks off somewhere. Sorry about that. We are having a few problems. What would you like? It takes me a second to remember what I'd come here for. My eyes quickly dart to the side to read the menu sitting on the counter. Oh, I guess some miso soup? Ah, is that Hisao? Yep, looks like you're pretty busy. Her face all but confirms it as she drops her waitress facade. Somewhere along the line, but our order got mixed up. We're trying to fix it now, but it looks like we only have half of what we needed. Wouldn't serving smaller portions cover over the problem? It seems that's what we'll have to do, though. I wish we did not. The fact that a good half of our class is gone does not help either. I glance behind her to see how many people are actually operating the stall. It couldn't be over about 8. I take it that's why your teacher left? That's right. She's going to try and round up a few more of our classmates to help. Hearing the sound of footsteps behind me, I stealthily glance backwards to see an elderly couple taking a place in the line. I guess I'd better stop loitering around and chatting. Here's the money for the soup. Soup? Oh, right. Coming right up. Lily turns and calls for a bowl of miso soup as I hand over the money for it. Taking the coins in her palm, I can't help but notice how efficiently she counts them out with her long, pale fingers. Eventually satisfied that I've handed over the correct change, she puts it into a small metal tray. It isn't long before the soup is made and carefully handed to her, after which she turns and subsequently passes it to me. Thanks, I'll come back to drop off the bowl. Thank you, Hisao. Oh, there is one other thing. Have you seen Hanako? Hanako? No, not today. Why? She gives a small sigh of abject disappointment. It's okay. I was just wondering what was she going to do for the festival? You'll come back when you're done, then. Sure, I'll keep an eye out for Hanako too. Thank you, Hisao. I walk off from the stall and find a seat, carefully creating the steaming wooden bowl in both hands. Compared to the dumplings from before, this is quite nice. A little cool compared to what it probably should be, perhaps, but the flavor is enough to cover for that reasonably well. As I drink, I can't help but feel somewhat guilty for not being as involved in the festival as the others. It can't really be helped, considering I was dropped into school only a week ago, but it still weighs heavily on my mind. That, and the fact that a few students don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as the visitors. Eventually, I finish my bowl and leave for the stall to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no line at all, I take my time walking up. It seems that the teacher's mission paid off. There are now over a dozen students helping, and much of the unpacking has been done. Despite most of them seeming to be quite relaxed as they work, Lily still appears to be somewhat stressed. Lily doesn't look impressed at all, and I can't really blame her. On top of her issues with her small stall, she still seems to be worried about Hanako. I can't really help her with the former, so I guess the only way I can help is by trying to take her mind off of our shy mutual friend. Placing the bowl back on the counter, I call out to Lily. Hey Lily, don't worry about Hanako. I'll go find her and hang out with her, okay? I can see Lily's relief plainly written across her face. Thanks, Hisao. And if you see anyone from my class, can you tell them to come back here, please? You'll do. Have a good one. And make sure you take a break, okay? I will, if I can. See you later, Hisao. I leave Lily in the stall and head out in search of Hanako. In a way, I feel bad for leaving her with the crowds, but even though she was clearly under pressure, I can't help but think that she's enjoying herself. The halls are packed with swaying crowds meandering throughout the festival. Or meandering, I should say. If there's one thing I know about Hanako, it's not that she's not going to be anywhere near this. And with the students showing their friends and family their dorms, I doubt she'll be there either. Following blind intuition, I move against the grain of the crowd. Thankfully, this crowd seems to be slightly less festive than your usual festival crowd. I assume this is out of consideration for the student body. As I force my way through the masses, it doesn't take long for them to thin down into nothingness. This is not surprising, since I am standing before the library. Even the most eager of students don't bother to show anyone this section of the school. As I enter the library, the noise of the festival fades into a dull background noise, and soon I am in the reading area at the rear of the room. Behind one of the partitioned desks, I see the top of a head with straight dark hair catching my eye. Hey, Hanako, I had a feeling I'd find you here. The head jump... that expression of hers is like... It's like terror, but it's so cute at the same time. The head jumps a little in shock before slowly peeping over the partition. Hisao! Hey, Lily's pretty busy, so she sent me to find you. Oh, do you want to sit down? Actually, I'm feeling a little hungry. Would you like to get something to eat from one of the stands? I brought some food, so... I shouldn't be surprised, but it was worth a try. Expecting her to go outside today was a long shot. How about we eat in the tea room? I passed by it on the way here and no one was around. We can make some food there and it'll be a little more comfortable. What do you say? Sure, let's go. Hanako closes her book and puts it away with deliberate, practiced movements. Good to go? Yeah. We walk side by side from the library to the tea room. As expected, there's barely a soul around. If it weren't for the murmurs through the walls, you wouldn't be able to tell there was a huge festival going on outside. Hanako carries her bag in both hands and focuses on just the floor ahead of her. Every now and then, she seems to break the pace a little and steps in slightly shorter paces. The first time it happened, I gave it no mind, but I soon noticed she does it on a regular basis. Are you alright? She stops dead in her tracks. What? I don't know, it looks like you were tripping or something. A pink blush rises into her cheeks as her gaze returns to the floor. It's nothing. This is actually taking a lot more time than expected, like, holy god. Like, I'm literally on the section of the game which the guide says that Hanako arc starts. So I'm expecting a cutscene really soon, so I don't want to, like, quit it. You know, when you say nothing like that, people are inspired to ask further questions. For a second, I don't think she's gonna answer. Prepared to leave it be, I almost set off walking again when... It's a game. Game? Do you see the floor here? What a bizarre question. The floor looks like any other floor, covered in those tiles made up from squares of linoleum. Linoleum, I think. Nothing noteworthy. Well, yes, what about it? Sometimes, when there's no one around, I only step on the darker ones. Hanako's voice trails off as her explanation continues, until I can barely hear her voice over the roaring silence of the empty hall. Darker ones? Shuffling her feet, Hanako points the toe of her shoe at a tile that is barely a shade darker than the others. Like these ones. Oh, right, so these ones are no good. I point down the nearby tile. Yeah, something like that. Oh, I see. Do you play this game a lot? Hanako shakes her head. Just when the halls are empty? She nods. Well then, no point in stopping. I'm beginning to get really hungry. She nods again, this time with a little more enthusiasm. Well then, let's go. We set off down the hall, and this time I noticed that Hanako is paying a little less attention to the floor. I wonder, just how lonely does someone have to be to come up with a game like that? But before I realize what I'm doing, I find myself trying to aim each step so it lands on the correct tiles. The noise of the festival is slightly louder inside the tea room, but the breeze, coming through the open window, makes it worth it. Without thinking, I walk to the windowsill and inhale deeply. I sometimes forget how clean the air is here compared to back home. Would you like some tea? That would be great, thanks. It occurs to me that this is the first time I've been alone with Hanako without her trying to be somewhere else. Turning from the window, I watch as she makes a simple pot of tea and arranges some sandwiches onto a plate. I've seen her do this before a number of times, but this time she seems slightly different. It's like she's calm. Eventually she places the small tray on the table and pours 2 cups of tea. The fresh scent of brewed tea mingles with the breeze, and for a second I feel like I'm the only one in the world. I think I know why you like this room now. I don't know what you mean. Well, there are quite a few people out there, but in here, it's like another world. You can pretend there's no one around for miles. You're right. It's like the world has forgotten this room. And because of that, you can forget about the outside. That would be appealing in some cases. As far as I can tell, conventional bullying doesn't exist in this school. But then again, I haven't seen a single person talk to Hanako besides Lily. If you're ignored by the world, a place where you can forget its existence would hold a special appeal. That's a good point. It's like this room gives you some kind of complete freedom. Yeah. Say, do you play chess? Chess? I've played it a bit, I guess. I take it you've played before? A little. Let me guess, Hanako is like a chess god. Like with an IQ of 6,250. Okay, maybe not that much. Without saying anything more, Hanako moves to one of the cupboards and digs out a small chess set. Do you want... Sure, why not? I cut her off, but she doesn't seem to mind it. We arrange the pieces, and before long we are sending pawns charging to their inevitable fates. I take my time and intently examine each move and its consequences, nostalgia for the game taking second place to the matters at hand. For a time the game is a lengthy battle of attrition, but I spot an opening and tear a line in her defense. A few moves later, her king is cornered by several of my pieces. Checkmate! You're not bad at this, are you? An honest appraisal. Her technique is pretty good, but several times I was able to exploit her lack of prediction. I pick up a piece and examine it. It looks relatively new, yet worn for its age. I guess not. Does Lily play? The absence of Hanako's answer causes me to think about my question. A bit. This is the First time I've played against someone other than her, or... She cut herself off abruptly, leaving the answer hanging in the air. Someone she knew before coming to Yamaku, maybe. I'm 110% that's going to be linked into her backstory. Absolutely. Well then, I'm honored to have played against you. Can we play again? She asks, as if she were asking me to cut off my own hands. The spirit of competition's gotten into her. Sure, don't expect me to go easy on you this time. Not that I was before, mind. She seems to appreciate the competitive tone. Same here. As we are setting up the pieces, there's a noise at the door. Good afternoon. Lily. Oh, hey there, Lily. Are you finished? You both are here? Wonderful. At any rate, our teacher managed to round up some extra help, so I was able to leave. Have you been here since you left? Pretty much. We've been just playing a bit of chess. Would you like a cup of tea? Actually, I think it may be a good idea to go outside for a little while. The instant drop in Hanako's face shows her objection to this plan, even though she says nothing. I feel strangely compelled to voice what is plainly in view on her face, but Lily can't see. I kinda think we should just stay here. Really? It's so crowded here that I was thinking we should leave the school and head for the local tea house. You mean the Shanghai? Of course. With everyone at the festival, it should be practically empty. Tea house? Not breaking the fourth wall. Oh, that's right. You probably do not know of it. Oh, you mean the tea house that I was in another timeline and where Yuko is as a waitress? I would love if the game did that. There is a tea house not far from here, which we go to every so often. Sounds like a plan. Hanako, what do you think? Ah! Hanako jumps a little at being forced into the conversation, but at least she seems less distraught than before. If it's the Shanghai, I think it'll be nice. Well then, it's settled. Let us be on our way. I had forgotten how good Lily's theme was as well, with the waltz beat. Hanako and I rise from the table and our preempted chess game. Before I can do anything, Hanako has poured the pieces into a small container and placed the board away. Looks like we're ready now. Please, lead on. Hanako moves to Lily's side and we venture out onto the school's corridors. The pair leads me through a series of unfamiliar doors and we emerge on the side of the building opposite of the festival grounds. Insulated by the heavy stone of the building, the noise from the crowd has faded into a murmur. Strange, I thought that most people would be beginning to leave by now. They're probably here to view the fireworks. They're probably here to view the fireworks. Fireworks? Yes, apparently the school puts on quite a show. A lot of people come from town just to watch them. Lily's decision to leave the school ground seems to make sense now. Hanako would probably have a hard time with the whole town descending onto the school. Or ascending, as the case may be. For the second time since arriving at Yamaku, I find myself walking down this road with Lily. Only now I can barely hear the incessant noise of the festival to realize how loud it was. I can hear my ears ringing slightly in the still evening air as they recover from the day's assault on them. Hanako clings to Lily, but still manages to guide her along the road. That, and avoiding the occasional gaze from curious pedestrians, appears to completely sap her constitution. She rarely raises her focus from the ground in front of her, nor does she utter a word. Lily, on the other hand, maintains her prim and proper persona, just as she does in school. It's obvious she purposely puts her effort into her appearance rather than hiding it as Hanako does. It's striking how different they are in their way of holding themselves outside of Yamaku's grounds. That said, it's obvious in both their cases that they do visibly change. Inside Yamaku, everyone is special, which negates the specialness of it. But once we venture outside the school gates, we have returned to the status of outsider and generic labels. Especially when we are in school uniform. It's like hanging a sign around your neck, challenging people to figure out what is wrong with you. I'm surprised that so many of the students keep it on. Then again, with canes and wheelchairs common among the students, I guess it's not really that much of a giveaway. Or maybe I'm the only one who sees this as a stigma. Maybe you should get used to it after a time, like any other school uniform. Ah, yes, the Shanghai. The tea house seems fairly standard from the outside, just an ordinary building with typical signs decorating the entrance. It looks like the type of place you'd walk by without a thought, just like another generic cafe in a sea of thousands. If Hanako hadn't steered Lily into the entrance, I wouldn't have continued on down the road without ever knowing that it existed. Back here again, this time with Lily and Hanako though. Inside the tea house, it takes on a more traditional feel. Everything seems to have been made from the same lump of timber, and the counter and benches to the higher-backed booths are on the walls. But the most striking feature of the room is the lack of life. I think I can faintly hear something bubbling away in the background, but otherwise the room is silent. Without any direction, we simply wait near the entrance, politely obeying the "please wait to be seated" sign. Is this place closed or something? There she is, Yuko again. The problem is, how do I voice both Hanako and Yuko? The sound of a chair falling over echoes throughout the empty room, and a head shoots up from inside the booth. I wasn't asleep, and welcome to the Shanghai! Yuko, dressed in a pastel apron and clutching a menu, rushes to greet us. Her misaligned glasses and ruffled hair cast suspicion on her previous statement. But whether she was asleep or not isn't the first question that leaps to my mind. You work here now? What happened to the library? What? Lily? Hisao? Welcome to the Shanghai! I'll take it. Yuko, still waking up, jerks into a violent bow, dislodging her glasses in the process. My glasses! As I pick up her spectacles off the floor, Lily offers an explanation. Yuko works here part-time as well as at the library. It is one of the reasons we like to come here. Yuko takes her glasses from my hands, shakily putting them back on. Yes, that's right, thanks. Shall I show you to your table? There's no one else here, so you can choose your table and order whatever you like, but there may be a delay as I will have to make it myself. It is all right, Yuko. Just a pot of black tea and a plate of sandwiches will be fine. Right, I'll get on to that. Yuko hurries off to the back of the cafe, leaving us still standing at the entrance. She pushes the swinging half doors open before realizing that she hasn't seated us. I'm sorry, please sit wherever you'd like, I'll be right back. Following her advice, I lead Lily to the nearest booth as Hanako follows. As I begin to sit next to Lily, I realize how appropriate this place is for Hanako. The high-backed booths totally separate you from the rest of the room, and it doesn't look like it gets all that many customers. All of the furnishings, from the cushions on the benches to the condiment holders, look dated, but aren't overly worn. I wonder if Lily deliberately selects places like this to take Hanako. She seems like the type that would go to lengths to cater to Hanako's unique predicament. So, Hisao, I did not know you'd play chess. Well, not very well, but I do know how to play. I suppose the obvious question would be, who won? Lily's innocent smile makes me hesitate. I really don't want to look like I'm lording my victory over Hanako. Hisao did. Yes, but not by much. Damn, saying that out loud makes me feel like I've done something terrible. Well done, Hisao. You've accomplished something I've only ever failed at. Thanks. I haven't played in ages, so it felt good to play again. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so stupid. I was wondering, like, did Hanako really beat Lily in, like, every single chess game? But yeah, I guess there is a disadvantage between the two. Yes, it did. Hanako fidgets with her hair a little and looks away as she replies, but a small smile emerges. It's a little more extreme of a reaction than I expected, but still kind of cute in that Hanako way. It throws me a little off guard, and only Yuko's cataclysmic re-entry shocks me back into conversation. Are you alright there, Yuko? You need a hand? I'm fine. I have to do this properly, it's my job. Concentration plays across her face while she stares at the tray in her hands, as if simply looking at its contents will hold them in place. Sadly, this doesn't prove all that effective. The cups and saucers slowly dance around, occasionally clattering as they collide with one another. Oh, she's shaking a little bit. Taking great care, Yuko sets the tray down on the table with only the subtlest of crashes. There, see! Well done. Thank you, Yuko. Aw. Yuko's head rockets downwards in her distinctive bow before answering. You're very welcome. Would you like to join us? There is something else I'd like to discuss about the recent order, if I may. Ah, that's right. Lily and Yuko were discussing a pile of books when I first met Hanako. Something about Lily helping with the Brel? Ah, yes. We didn't get a chance to go through them, did we? Yuko hastily sits next down to Hanako. Apparently her dedication to this job only goes as far as her concentration. Once it's broken, she suddenly loses it. I'll be in the library tomorrow afternoon if you'd like to try again. That sounds perfect. I'll meet you there after classes. Lily. Oh wait, that sounds more like crying Emmy. Lily. Oh dear, that is right. Tomorrow is Monday. How could I have forgotten? I'm starting to feel a little left out of the loop here. Then again, that's to be expected. I have been here for barely a week, so it's impossible to know everyone's schedule. Well, perhaps we could come to some other arrangement. Yuko, will you be in the library later in the week? Maybe, but this is already overdue. And there are some things I need. This might be a problem. Lily ponders for a second before discovering the answer. I wonder, might we be able to enlist the help of another if need be? To do what? You lost me quite some time ago. Being volunteered for something without even having the slightest idea what is going on isn't really my thing. And here I thought I had finally escaped the clutches of the student council and their repeated attempts to recruit me. Oh, of course. The other day I was helping Yuko sort the new Braille books in the library. But Hanako and I usually go shopping on Monday afternoons. It is quieter on that day than on the weekends. Last week we could not go because I was busy with the festival. I managed to slip away later in the week, but Hanako could not make it. Well, since I can't read Braille, I'm assuming you'd like me to go shopping with Hanako. Correct. You were a great help to me the other day. I think I can handle that. Hanako, what do you think? If you wouldn't mind. Of course not. I'm still not familiar with all the stores in the area, so it sounds like a good idea. Okay. Now that we have that arranged, shall we have some tea? It's now that I realize our tea has been idling idly by all this time, we're getting no hotter. It's my fault, let me pour that for you. Yuko reaches out with shaking hands, but I intercept her. She looks in no state to be handling hot liquids. It's alright, I've got it. Since you've already made the tea and sandwiches, you've fulfilled your waitress duties, right? I guess... Yuko relaxes a little, but still watches eagerly as I share out the assortment. Oh god, like for a fraction of a second I thought that was a gunshot. But I guess those are the fireworks. As I'm about to bite into the sandwich, a low, loud rumble can be heard, along with a flash of light from outside. Ah, I take it the show has started. Whoa, that looks gorgeous. Only now looking outside, I realize that dusk has come and gone, leaving us in the peak of twilight. Sparkling tracers arc upwards, ready to explode in floral shapes of fireworks. Let's go watch! Oh, sorry, Lily. Please, don't miss the show on my account. From what I've heard, this is not a bad location to watch them from. Whoa, that looks cool! Look at Hanako, she's like Yuko too. Ah. With the exception of Lily, we rush to the window of the small tea house to watch the show. What song was this again? Lullaby of Open Eyes, that's right. I remember this song from Emmy's route, specifically from the part where she falls asleep next to us and like has the nightmare about her father. The strobe of colored lights plays across Hanako's and Yuko's smiling faces, and for a second I forget to look out the window. This is a totally new world, and there are a few things that don't change. I think that's why the school makes such a fuss over this festival. It's a chance to show the similarities between everyone. The show is over far too quickly. Fireworks are expensive, even for the most well-funded schools. Before we return to our tea and sandwiches, Hanako turns to me. Ah. Thanks for today. And tomorrow. That's okay. I don't think I could have faced those crowds either. On days like this, I think it's more relaxing to spend some time from everyone, don't you think? Yeah. Anyway, we've been delaying the tea for far too long. Let's get back. Sure. We return to the booth and our light meal. That sounded impressive. Bigger than last year's, at least. Yeah, it was great. I've never seen them put on such a show. It gets better every year. I'm afraid, however, that during that time our tea has gone cold. Oh no! Make me some more! Let me make some more! This is my fault! Calm down, Yuko. It's not anybody's fault. I take a sip from my cup just to prove the point. This tea isn't too bad cool anyway. It's like an iced tea. Really? Yeah. Really, if you add a bit of sugar, it's kinda nice. Are you sure? I'm positive. Now, why don't you sit down and we'll finish this together? Okay. Yuko doesn't seem convinced, but sits down regardless. She carefully measures out about 5 teaspoons of sugar and adds them to her tea. I said a bit of sugar. I know, but I like my tea sweet anyway. Curiously, I peer into her cup. As expected, hardly any of the sugar dissolves into the cold liquid. She stirs it twice before upturning the cup and drinking the contents, sugar and all, in a single mouthful. You're right, that's not bad at all. you just drank a legit, like, full cup of sugar. What the hell? Good. I look back to Lily and Hanako, both of whom have finished their meal as I witness Yuka's personality in action. Not wanting to hold anyone up, I use her tactic and finish the remainder of my tea in a single swill. Well then, it seems we're all finished. Should we head back now, or do we want seconds? Yuka's expression shows that this is quite clearly not a good idea. I think it would be best if we got back soon. We do have to get back before curfew after all. Oh, that is a good point. I'll meet you tomorrow, Yuko. I'll be looking forward to it, Lily. Goodbye, everyone. We make our way out of the small tea house and into the dark of the night. Lily and Hanako once again take the point, but under the cover of darkness, Hanako seems a slightly less stressed than she did on her trip here. We move against the occasional group of people emptying the school grounds, but Hanako seems to lead us along a few minor roads, avoiding the bulk of the crowd. Outside the dorms, the school seems strangely quiet when compared to the noise of the day. Well then, thank you both for today. I think I learned a lot. You're most welcome, but I'm afraid I really must be going. Today has been a long day. That's right, Lily spent all of today on her feet, and I can imagine that walking outside of the school would be pretty tiring for her. I feel a pang of guilt as I remember that I was probably the only one in the school that got up around 10 this morning. Sure thing. Well, I'll see you both tomorrow. Good night. Good night, Hisao. Night. No, I'm like... Night. That's better. The girls returned to their dorm and I to mine. Actually, now that I consider it, today tired me out as well. Act 2, Hide and Seek. That's really cute. Well, cute, but I mean... that cutscene kinda gave weight, let's say, to the... the incoming... trials that we'll have with Hanako. Obviously there's been a tragic event on her past, and we kind of saved her, or we'll save her from it. But I think that's a good point to drop off this episode of Katawa Shoujo. Now, I apologize if the episodes have been a bit messy these past 2 to 3 episodes, but that was because I had no idea what to do. So it was confusing. If you want me to change the way that I'll enter future routes, let me know. What else? I guess we're in Hanako's route now. Act 2, Hide and Seek. My name was Negacious. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the subscribe button and the bell button next to the subscribe button to get my notifications of videos whenever they come online. Make sure to comment down below. Any critique or feedback is welcome. And of course, a click on that like button doesn't hurt either. My name was Negacious, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.